love. Mind-expanding, heart-opening conversations with some of the greatest spiritual teachers, luminaries, and healers of today's world. Usher in new earth by living in your sacred heart. Quantum Conversations is brought to you by AcousticHealth.com, home of music from the universe, online healing retreats, and this program. Claim your free registration to daily shows at AcousticHealth.com. AcousticHealth.com, your portal to the inner realms. Our program starts shortly. Welcome to another Quantum Conversation, brought to you by AcousticHealth.com. I'm Loren Gailey, and I invite you to sit back as we enter the quantum realm, that space of the greater part of you. It is your connection to infinite possibilities, infinite potential, and infinite mastery. Oh, and we access that quantum realm through the heart center and 0 point. And so today we are meeting with a beautiful master energy healer and spirit telepath who is here to work with the creator beings who definitely lift us into a higher reality current or timeline. My guest today is Alicia Power, back with us once again on this quantum conversation. Hello, Alicia. Good morning.
Good morning, Loren. It's such a delight to be here with you and with everyone today. Can't wait. So exciting.
You are on a new day ahead of us here in the western side of the planet, and you are in Australia. So thank you, everyone, for joining us at this very special time. Alicia, we would love to hear an update on the energies. We've heard from a variety of people that it has felt intense. Now, we've had a full moon just recently that feels very emotional for all those Scorpios, but there's other things that are going on, and this goes into the shadow and the light. Can you give us an update for what is in our highest interest?
Oh, I love the way you put that, Loren, for what is in our highest interests. You and I were chatting just before we started, and we were talking about this, and I'd like to share just really quick snapshot update. You were asking me about 2.5 weeks ago, I think it was, and that it seemed very intense, and a lot of people were saying that it just seemed like a clashing of energies, and everybody was kind of trudging through this intensity. And I just wanted to report that what I was viewing, what I was being shown in the worlds of spirit, because daily, pretty well much daily, I am traveling very, very high in the layers of the worlds of spirit, accompanying and being pulled up, drawn up by these creator beings up to layers where they operate and where they are holding space, where they are observing what's going on in those higher layers. I call it like the psychic weather, if you like, really, really high in those kind of, oh my gosh, I don't quite know what the word is, but, and what was happening about 2.5 weeks ago, what they were showing me was just enormous clashes of shadow and light, and sort of armies of shadow beings and armies of light were opposing forces were working, and these creator beings were, with their vast capabilities, were coming with their force fields and transmuting this incursion, you could almost say, of shadow teams that were coming in. So it was very much like a portal was opening or had opened briefly, and some kind of a force of shadow was coming in, almost like thunderclouds coming in, and then was being transmuted. The gorgeous, wonderful thing about these creator beings. And, you know, for 30 years, I've just so loved being picked up by them and supported by them, is because they do have that overseeing capability and jurisdiction, authority to transmute shadow. I hope everybody really heard that, because that is just sort of huge. It's really, really huge. It's like even a very high level shadow is encroaching. These creator beings have levels and layers still going up and up and up and up and up that they can engage and operate and work with any level of shadow and transmute it. I'm so grateful to them. Anyway, so that was what was going on, and what I felt and observed in myself and also in humanity as well was that how this affects us as a collective and also as individuals, humanity as a collective and you as an individual person, human, is that our deep unconscious, you guys all know, regurgitates fear and uncertainty and doubt and just subliminal intensity. And that subliminal intensity can sound like thoughts that just won't go away about some obsessive thought loop, some subject that, you know, you can't sort of find a solution to, and it just keeps going round and round in your head. So I'm just saying that, and it's anything. It could be your relationship blows up, or humanity struggles at times like that because it's caught in a web, in a spider's web of internal shadow being activated by these external surrounding flows of shadow that amplify and connect with the resonances that are embedded in us, in our auric fields. So it's like the tuning forks are all singing together, you know, the shadow levels in us and in the higher realms, and so there's an escalation and an echo chamber of that, and we're all finding ourselves struggling with issues, with external issues, internal issues, and then also seeing maybe in the external circumstances that there's an edge, that things are getting to an edge, an intensity, and you know, where humans are making choices from that subliminal fear on a collective scale or on a leadership level, or lack of consciousness in leadership or whatever, in terms of their choice making. So that's what was happening 2.5 weeks ago, just this huge cloud of intensity. And when I'm tuning in today with the creator beings and they feel into those layers and what's happening up there at that high level, it's all cooled out. So yeah, the hump is gone. It's over. Just letting you know. And you and I, Lorraine, were talking about solar flares that were happening and the Schumann resonance, and it was all this crescendo and escalation of subliminal, this energy.
Amazing.
It was cacophony.
Cacophony. Well, thank you for sharing that. It really does explain what the energies were feeling like. I'm sure people are saying, yes, I get that, or I understand that. Or some maybe not even aware of it, but just to know that, wow, something went down. Interesting that I was speaking with another spiritual person who corroborates what you were saying there. And the good news is from this, it's that it's almost as if, like you said, it's over. Would you say that the density has lifted? And this is what we're going to do to go to now, is really, we have the ability to lift into higher reality currents.
Correct.
Right? And so was there a release of dense energies or shadow?
Was there a reason for it? Was there a leveraging up? Yes. And so let me just tune in and see what they want to say about that. Won't be a moment. I'm so grateful that they have arrived and are working with humanity. I tell you, we're not flopping around on our own, right? In our hologram, we've got these overseers who can enter the hologram through any of us that encourage them to come in and support us. Let me just see. Won't be a moment. Oh, they're telling me, interesting, because I didn't know the answer to that, and they're saying that actually it was about maintaining stability and keeping the boat stable. And so they're happy that it's stable. at the moment. Yeah, and they're saying in this session today, with the group of people that are here and anyone listening to the replay, you know, quietly and secretly between you guys and me and them, they would love to actually use this group vortex to lift the collective of humanity's force field, collective force field, but also collective reality up to a higher reality stream, I call them, like a parallel reality, a higher timeline, if you like. So they'd actually like us to do a process to do that today. Oh my goodness.
We all say so yes. Funny. We are making a group vortex. Yes. Interesting. Yes. Everyone. Yes.
And, I know, and they also want to preamble and slow everything down and actually articulate a little bit what actually is happening when they do that, so that everybody's logical conscious mind's going, okay, got it, grokking it, you know, that this is how they work. This is how they partner with us. So they want us to really get that, and how to even do that alone in your own lounge room, you know, at any moment, so that you realize that there's support at that level and that you can make a difference in that partnership, in collaborating with them in a quiet moment in your own life. Yeah. So they'd love to chat a little bit about that before they even go into the process. I'm sure everyone on this call is going, oh my God, that's so exciting.
Yes, very, very good. So working in partnership with the creator beings to transmute this shadow. We've talked about this before. Would you say there's witnessing where we're triggered is 80 to 90% of the work, and then the rest is calling in the creator beings to assist with the transmutation or the upliftment into love and higher frequencies?
Oh, wow. That's an incredible question. That's an incredible sort of opportunity, what you're saying. It just opens up this huge subject. Today, they would like to talk about the heart and how to amplify love, and then in that state, how to partner with them in that state and why that works. So that's what they want to talk about today. So heart, love, and partnering with them. But what you just talked about was just a quick sort of even getting to that point, just really quickly sort of backtracking a little bit, which is when we're getting triggered, our awareness, our conscious awareness, noticing that, then leads to cleaning that up, cleaning the trigger up, cleaning what is causing the trigger. So for me, after 30 years of being an energy healer and partnering with spirit surgeons, when I notice I'm being triggered, I know that there's that I'm not qualified to see clearly. So spirit tribes that I work with, who I've worked with for a long time, the surgeons, I grab them, I use them to see where it is and to transmute it very quickly so so my trigger releases and dissolves, pretty much is depleted. Then I invite them to increase my light quotient. What you just described is what I just talked about just then, right? So dissolving the trigger, because it is actually a psychic, everybody knows this now probably, it's a psychic little force field sitting in your auric field, and the experts need to take a look at it and transmute it. And that's a really quick moment. You can just quickly reach for these partners that I quite often talk about. Some people just use the term Alicia's spirit technicians. They know who they are and who I am. So they get rid of that. They get rid of the trigger. And the second part of that is for them to just dump, download, pump, highlight into your auric field so that you're lifted up, so that your psychologies change, your state changes, your thinking changes, the way you feel about changes, the way you're thinking about the world changes, everything starts changing, just lifts like a boat on a tide, just goes up. Today, we are going to be partnering with creator beings about lifting realities, which has a little bit to do with that, but is a bit more specific about what they want to talk about. So hope that clarifies.
Yes, thank you. All right, so these are the power of the creator beings, high-level spirit tutors who we can partner with. We love this, Alicia, so I'm going to let you take over here and bring forward what they'd like to share.
Lorraine, you are such a darling. Thank you. Okay, so let's just see what they want to say. And they are crowding in to me right now. They're just kind of like a whole lot of kids trying to get into a party through a door. It's hilarious. Anyway, they're just showing me that because it's funny. So anyway, they are so keen to get started on the subject. So they're just quickly wanting to say that this whole thing of lifting into a higher timeline, into a higher reality stream, I call it like currents in an ocean, like a higher current in an ocean, in the quantum ocean of realities into a parallel reality that's higher. This is very real, everyone. I've experienced it since playing with these creator beings over the last 30 years where something changes. I remember sitting in the passenger seat with my partner, he's my husband now, going on a long 5-hour road trip and knowing that as we were driving, the reality current was lifting. There was this absolute visceral awareness that we were in some kind of a vortex as we were driving, and the timeline was lifting as we were driving. And that was one of many. It's just occurred many, many, many times. Excuse me. And so this is a real thing where we are quantum physicists, quantum scientists. Most of them know the observer effect, that the universe does not exist unless we're observing it. This is a really, because we all have heard the theory of it, but we don't live it like that. We don't live like that. We're usually at the effect of our external reality, not realizing that we're the ones that are walking, talking, projecting the movie. So there's no one here except you. I always talk about this, and ancient teachers, spiritual teachers through the ages always talk about this too, which is that there's no one here except you. If you want to save the world, save yourself first. Work on yourself first. It's you. You're the observer in this quantum reality. And so that's why the creator beings are so excited to walk into your reality today and say to you that they would like you to open your heart. We're going to play with that in a moment. They would like you to realize that you're the projector of the movie, that you are the creator of your reality. You know, everybody in the spiritual community talks about this. But they, as creator beings who oversee universes, see, I play with guides that are very high up, that oversee many of the spirit communities below them, right? These guys are overseers of universes. So they understand reality creation, and that's why it's exciting to hear from them today. So these are very high authority reality creators. Now, what they want to say, because I just positioned them in your mind just then, okay, got to listen to these guys because they know what they're talking about. So what they want to say is that we are echo chambers of resonance. We have to maintain clarity in our personal resonance. Clarity meaning that when there's shadow, a lot of shadow, compacted, impacted in our auric fields, we're not clear. We are being instructed and controlled by that shadow. It's controlling our state. It's controlling our thinking. It's controlling our psychic and emotional and psychological projection out into our reality field. So what they want to just repeat there is it's on our shoulders to take responsibility to keep our auric field clean, to be clear. When they talk about clarity, it's about a clean auric field. So the lens is clean as we are, you know, pushing our projection out onto our reality screen, and also interpreting that reality screen, what we're thinking about that reality screen. So we're not in fear or doubt or reaction or anxiousness, etc. And so the way that I maintain the clarity of my electromagnetic field, many a time I don't know that it's harboring shadow frequency, honestly. And so I've learned over the years to stand in front of these creator beings and say, guys, can you please take a look? Or to work with some of the spirit technician teams, tribes that I work with. Can you guys take a look, I say to them, because I feel normal. And in they go and they look at me and they go, oh my God, there's all this stuff in here, you know, that I had no idea about. And I was operating at a lower reality stream. and I didn't know. I thought it was fine. And so one of my big messages throughout the years, throughout the decades is, don't rely on how you feel. Honestly, this is just a quiet little aside, because we all kind of, the whole New Age thing of, notice how you feel, and that's what you, we all know that if we're feeling a little bit off, then we'll do something about it. But sometimes we might be feeling quote unquote normal. So I always suggest to people, have a routine every single day to front up and stand in front of these teams to get them to look at your auric field. Because that sort of lowering of the resonance can happen imperceptibly and slowly over time, and we don't realize it, but we're going down, and we're, from whatever, from watching the news on television. Guys, it's a tuning fork, it's resonance, it comes out of we all know this too, comes and connects. Anytime there's some kind of a show on, ancient civilizations and they start showing bones and kind of like, or even shamanic stuff, I have to turn the television off because my auric field starts connecting with the psychic energy that's kind of opening up on the television screen. It's hilarious. Anyway, that's just me. I'm super sensitive. Anyway, TV. So let's go back so they are saying, every day to keep your auric field clean and to check where it's at. So they just want us to let me just tune in again and see where they want to go from here. This is really, really important. It's all about the camera aperture. It's all about the lens, keeping it clean, keeping it clear. So they're saying that the partnership, when you start reaching even higher to creator beings as a partnership, and for those of you who've not heard me speak before, I'm on a mission to connect as many spiritual seekers as possible to these creator beings. I'm not hogging them to myself. I'm suggesting as many people as possible, if you want to accelerate and lift to higher personal realities. My personal reality is just delightful. Where I live, how I live, etc., etc. Everything has just moved higher and higher and higher and higher. I just quickly, as an aside, want to say that these creator beings, when they start working with you personally, this is one of their big agendas, is to clean your life up in so many ways, whether it's relationships and finance and life circumstances. They want you to be happy in this lifetime because then you radiate happiness, then you radiate stability, then you radiate comfort and comfortable resonances and heart-based resonances. So that's a really big agenda when you start partnering with them personally. And so remember that they are accelerated. They have very high authority. So they can kind of slice through like a knife through cake, like come through and shift very deep stuck points in your auric field. So acceleration is a major reason why you partner with them in terms of your soul growth, etc. And they just want to say that today you've got an opportunity to partner with them as an example for something that can happen ongoingly in your life, but together as a group, and the group force field will be available also for those who are listening to the replay as well. I'd love to say that because the same teams show up, the same group of creator beings show up. Today there's an opportunity to watch how they work, but also they're very keen, because you're here with them, they're very keen to lift you, like a little child, to lift it out of, its little pushchair and lift it up onto something else, into a higher, different kind of a vehicle. They want to lift you up into a higher timeline today. And also, as they said, to work with the global force field as well, the collective of humanity, that force field as well, and lift it up to a higher timeline as well. So you're going to be part of a process. And before we jump into that process, they want to say, this is what they actually wanted to say right at the beginning, which is that your soul is sitting inside this human body. And the human body has a heart chakra. It's got a heart muscle, but it's got a heart chakra. So that vortex that's sitting in the heart chakra is the lens of the soul, is it's the main projector actually for the soul, your soul's energy. When you sit in your soul beingness and look out into this physical dimension, there's so much compassion for this physical dimension. There's compassion for yourself. So, the movement or the feeling of self-love, self-awareness of who you are, what you are as a soul, just instantly switches on compassion and opens that heart chakra, that the lens of the heart chakra. So the other really big idea that these creative beings would love you to realize in this moment is that when you do that, when you switch into open-heartedness through whatever means, through whatever tool, they love suggesting people feel themselves as a soul looking into their reality. That's a tool they love to use. They're saying that when you open your heart chakra, there's an immediate connection to the vast background 0-point field, to God's source, which is creator force. That's the force that creates. So as soon as you touch love inside yourself, you are connecting to creator force. There's an immediate merging with it, becoming it. And in that moment, if you notice what you most would love to create in a reality, which is a synthesized reality, your external movie, your external life, when you notice in a moment like that, just a really quick, even half a second moment where you're feeling love and connecting to love force, creative force, there's an instant power of creation comes to your moment of realization of what you love or what you would love. So there's a lot of little things going on there. There's you noticing as a logical human what you'd love in your external reality. And there's also a huge force that's noticing you notice it. Isn't that beautiful? A beautiful little echo chamber happening there, like a quick amplification going there. A few little substances connecting. Love force, creative force, and your conscious awareness of what you would love. So quick little mix of elements there that are like instantaneous and half a second connect. Right? Mm-hmm. And so what I've described actually is a moment of creation. And it's the power that you have as a human. Even though you don't think about it or don't know about it or you've heard vaguely things about it, but you really don't know how to work it, like jumping in a Ferrari and you don't really know how to sort of drive it. You don't know the full power of it. But you're sitting in the seat going, oh, how do I work this? So I just quickly described that. This is your power as a human. You have walked into a holographic reality. Your soul has. And it's come here to amplify love. That's what it's actually incarnated for. That's why you've incarnated. And I just want to mention that, I want to mention that this love power that you as a human have is the most important gift that you can work with in this lifetime. And I'm using it kind of almost very logically. I'm talking very logically about it, very cerebrally about it. But I'd love your logical mind to realize that you've incarnated and we get really busy, totally distracted in our life. And nobody sits us down and says to us, as a human, you have the ability to change realities with your heart and with your feeling love, and then amplifying that love towards your personal realization of what you'd love in your reality. Okay, your personal realization of what you'd love in your reality, in that moment of feeling love, of feeling joy. Nobody slows that down for you as a human and lets you know that that is why you incarnated in this lifetime. So that's what's happening right now. We're just quietly letting you know that this is the big gift or the big capability or the big master tool that you can start playing with now and start getting good at and experimenting with. And I just want to say quickly that I'm talking quickly about all this, but it's huge. It's really, really big. But what I want to say, and what these creator beings would just like me to just gently say, is that when you turn towards a creator being and invite them to come towards you in a moment like that, the exponential amplification of what starts to happen is sort of unspeakable. You can't even wrap words around that. And so what I've just described is help and support from creator beings in that moment where you're using the master tool of your conscious awareness of love and of what you would most love to create, of your preference. They call it your preference from your heart. And so in a moment when all these elements are connecting and you turn to a creator being and ask them to come towards you, come with you into your reality, send the energy in with you, and to help you create the thing that you would most love to happen in your life. A little tiny moment of conscious realization and awareness. Right? Your conscious minds become aware of what you'd most love. And then you invite a creator being to come in. So that is explosive in its potential in terms of what starts to, what some people call the adamantine particles of reality, where what they start formatting and forming. Because you've got creator beings supporting the will of your heart. So right there is a formula and a capability of generating realities, not only personally, but also globally. So I'm articulating it in a really sort of formatted way because I'd love you to realize that this is true, this is real, these guys are real, and they can lend their vibration, their resonance, their frequency to a moment like that. And the master tool becomes like super powerful. Creator beings know how to create realities. And it's a beautiful thing when you have something that you would love to see happen in your life, in your physical reality, in your movie screen, and you hand it to them. You go, guys, this is the truth of my heart. This thing that I'm handing to you is my heart speaking from its joy, from its beauty, from its innocence, from its self-love. It's not out of desperation, it's out of self-love in that moment. It's a little package of energy. This is this thing I'd love to create. And then you hand that to them. And what they do, and I sometimes forget to mention this part, is that they feel the beauty of your heart and this thing that you'd love to manifest or to be manifested. They feel it. What they do is they sense deeply into it. They look at it from all sides. Then they make choices and they're telling me to say, they start talking to all their teams of how they're going to manifest it. So they because they're manifestors and creator beings, they know what's required to manifest it. And it requires lots of teams with lots of expertise in working and intending the adamantine particles. So, so in that moment that you push a love-based preference instruction to them, or just hand it to them, saying, this is what I'd love, they've got a big job to do. They've got a lot to do. They have to understand it. Then they have to understand how to generate it and what it's going to take in you and what it's going to take as an energy shift globally or in your personal reality. What kind of realities need to start manifesting so that it seamlessly is built into your reality, this thing that you would love. So they've got a lot of work to do. They know that there's only you here in your personal hologram. They understand that, you see. And they also understand that there are many currents in the spirit worlds that can be pushing against that. It could be old genetics. It could be, jarring moments from past lives, from this lifetime, held in your auric field that project out, a static onto your auric field. So they have to understand all the elements that go into gifting you the reality that you're asking for. Okay, so I'm describing this in a way so that you realize that this is not vague, that these beings actually know precisely how to drop and push that first domino so that all the dominoes start falling and generating a reality so that you move into that reality elegantly, seamlessly, over and over and over again. What I mean by over and over again is they actually start to take you on as a project, and they start lifting you gently, imperceptibly sometimes, into higher and higher timelines. You guys are all using that phrase timelines. I use kind of energy currents or parallel reality, energy flows. Higher and higher and higher. They start moving you higher and higher and higher and higher. I love it. I've been on the receiving end of it in my lifetime. So just humbly, quietly standing here in front of you guys saying, partnering with these beings, no holds barred is real and it works. And it's exciting for anyone listening to this. I mean, you must be going, a part of you maybe doesn't even understand what I'm talking about, but another part of you might be going, if this is real, I would love that. I would love these stepping stones, going up, the ladder and just heading upwards in realities, moving higher and higher.
Isn't it beautiful? God. Yeah, isn't it wonderful that it is as simple as amplifying love? When folks ask, what's my purpose? This is the purpose, amplifying love. And now to create with it, this is where it really gets fun. And I'm so glad that your creator beings are stepping forward and showing not only our group in our group vortex, but the world and working with the collective on how we can do this. So, wow, that's powerful. And how fun for each of us to begin to play with it and work with it.
Indeed. Let's do it, guys. What do you think? Should we jump in?
Let's jump in.
Oh, let's jump in. Oh, my gosh. Okay, let's play. Everybody, close your eyes. These creative beings have already come through my auric field as a portal, and they are flowing into our group force field here. Or anyone listening to this on the replay are flowing into your auric field. Okay, everyone. So because I've been chatting and you've been listening, you're really quite tuned in to their frequency already, so they're quite comfortable to get started quite quickly. So closing your eyes, everyone, taking a deep breath, and I'd love you to pretend and imagine, with working with the worlds of spirit, pretending and imagining, I always say, is your front door. That's how you start. Because the spirit world then takes what you think you're imagining and moves it for you. Okay, so in front of you, imagine a beautiful being of light. Now, I can immediately see that this is a created being actually already standing there. Their hand is out, and for you to take their hand, please just take their hand and allow yourself to be escorted. And so gently and lovingly and caringly, this being is escorting you into a force field which actually is a column of energy heading straight upwards. So allow yourself to be gently eased into this column of energy, and very gently together you're being escorted by this being upwards, up this column. This is all about stargates and moving up through dimensions. This is all about heading up through higher and higher frequency levels. So just allow yourself to be pulled up gently, gently. I sometimes play with the word lasagna. It's like going up through lasagna layers of energy, heading up. All right, getting pulled up, everyone. Nice and gentle. They're telling me that it's kind of fun because we're already in the realm of the creative beings because you've been listening already for about hour and a quarter, 45 minutes. So they're quite comfortable that you're already at a frequency point that they can work. So a door opens, in the elevator, so to speak, slides open and you step out of the column of energy together. And there's a group in a semicircle of creator beings in front of you. You can just switch on a sensing, a knowing. You don't have to see anything too clearly. There's a beautiful bowing and acknowledging. They are bowing for you and you're bowing to them. It's like, oh my God, you guys, thank you for being here. Just beautiful energy, so high, so loving, so caring. Rays of light are coming out of their foreheads into your forehead. They are doing this to create a new perception in your mind of who you think you are. Quick gift. What this is are software codes going into your consciousness that then facilitate and help a movement, a shift of your inner perception of how you see yourself. And they're saying that's actually a huge part of lifting up into a higher slipstream of reality. It's actually a big part. So they're doing a reconfiguration, rewiring. They call it your choice point. I'm sure you understand that when I use that terminology. They've used that term over 30 years with me. Somebody's a choice maker or a choice point. It's like the snapshot of all your auric fields, of all your vibrations, because that's the base that you come from when you make choices. So that's what they're rewiring and downloading. They're asking me to go quiet for a moment. Gosh, I'm watching an explosion of light just ripple through you. It's a beautiful download of high frequency. Like a starburst from your center. And now it's oscillating. It's like a wave, big wave of light just being pushed through you and over and over and over and over again. They're saying they're actually working quite quickly and intensively with these light frequencies because they haven't got that much time, because I've got a lot of things they want to do. So they're just kind of doing all big downloads of love software of high light frequency into your auric fields. And I can see just this, a crust, a hard concreted energy just being siphoned up and out through your crown chakra. And it leaves a space in you. They're happy about that. They're telling me, it's like, oh, good. That was a big job. Just pulled all that out. And now they're gently, gently rewiring where that space is, adding light filaments to it, weaving light filaments. And they're using that word choice again, adding choice. Choice is like a fabric, almost like maybe we could use it as microchips almost or something, or it's patches, like choice patches. But gently, gently reweaving that whole area that they've just excavated. They're saying to me powerlessness, energy, frequency, and grief frequency from past lives. I just did a big release. Still patching it up, still downloading new software into there. Because we're working in a group, they can do this quite quickly. It actually facilitates speed. They're getting excited because they want us to move into a little moment of creation in a moment. And they're preparing us. They're actually preparing our auric field so that we can feel a little bit more cleanly our heart. They're still working on us, but they're sort of moving through to this next stage of what they want to do, which is they'd like you to pretend and imagine that in front of you is a kind of a starburst, if you like, or a sphere of light. Cool. And now step into that sphere of light and let yourself merge with it. Just dissolve into it. And in this moment, they would like you to notice in your life an elevated reality that speaks to you, sings to you. An elevated reality that sings to you. It's a moment of your noticing what that could be. And if you can, be innocent. And now imagine that circle of creator beings in front of you again. And almost though it's a package of energy in your hands, see yourself giving it to them. And with so much love and gentleness and caring of this beautiful hope or preference or thing that you love. So it's such a beautiful thing that you're giving to them. And gently and just from your heart say, can you please help me manifest this? And then go really, really quiet, and I'd love you to stay connected to what's happening, because they are observing, feeling, making decisions. So stay connected. Keep your attention on. Stay connected with them. Keep your attention camera on them. And now what I'd love you to do is do something similar on a global scale. Place your attention on a hope, a dream, a joy. Feel it as though it's already happened, that it's giving you joy because it's happened. And then hand that as a package of energy to the creator beings in front of you and ask them to help you create that. I'm just pausing for a moment because there's a lot of work going on, guys. We're just holding the space while they're doing a whole lot of work. We're still being quiet and holding the space, but I just want to let you know that they wanted me to tell you that they take your instructions profoundly seriously. And so that's why they're going in and just doing some very deep work, even right now on a global scale, using our force field as a group, holding the space for them to make some big changes according to your heart's preference. So that's why it's all gone quiet, because they are in there doing a big job according to your instructions to them, your love request to them. We're just a little bit more of quiet, letting them do their work. Wow, they just did this extra sort of power move just then, and they were accomplishing a lot in a very short space of time. They were asking me permissions. Can we do this? And I'd say, yes, let's do it. I'd just surrender and go, guys, if you need to do it, let's do it. So they were doing some really big moves in those quantum energy waves behind the physical reality. They're telling me to describe it like a carpet tug. I love that. And they're so efficient with their precision with how they work and the speed, that the big power move, and then they close it, they finish it, and they go, okay, we're finished. I'm going, wow, that all happened in half a minute. Anyway, just letting you know that a lot was going on and huge speed, huge teams. I've just been doing a lot of work in the background. Energy, quantum energy of physicality, in the blueprints, according to your instructions. The beauty of that partnership cannot be overstated. So important. Your love, your heart, and you're delivering that heart request to them. And that symbiosis, the dance of them and you, is what you've come here to create, what you've come here to do. And quite funny, but they're finished. It's like they're going, okay, next. Oh, it's so funny, because it was so big. That's why I'm laughing. Goodness gracious me. I'm still kind of sort of breathtaking.
It feels so wonderful. And what a beautiful tool. What a beautiful partnership. I trust that everyone felt that everyone is feeling elated from that, not only for what we did individually, but for the collective. So beautiful. There's an elated feeling I cannot articulate. I just want to say all is well, and it's beautiful. It feels empowering, like we are really using our love to create.
That's it.
I want to share one that I know resonates with everyone. We have Alicia, another Alicia, who shares her prayer and vision, and that is that everyone knows their own sacredness. And we know when we know we are sacred, we see all other humans as sacred. And as a result, we treat each other with the utmost respect and care. That's unity, consciousness. That was a big one that our listener, Alicia, put out there for everyone. Isn't that beautiful?
I so relate. I remember a moment when I was doing this process with them, and I had a similar prayer in my heart. Very similar, very close. Yeah. Oh my goodness, it's the ultimate prayer, isn't it, that one? Totally.
We can see the gateway. We can see the, let's call it timeline, or I love what you called it, the higher higher currents of energy, higher realities. And that's a gateway. Once we show everyone with respect, that's New Earth. We can see that happening. And again, this is why we say it's very important to hold our vision of New Earth, because we will know what to do. And now we can take that vision and work with the creator beings every single day, like what we just did today. So, Alicia, I wanted to say it was really interesting to present what we love, that love packet of what we want to create, and share it with the creator beings. It's, wow, again, I'm having a hard time articulating it, but it is beautiful. It feels so sovereign and so supportive. And again, it's simple, but it's something that we have to do each day to steer our consciousness and to allow the creator beings to work with us. What would you say for someone to see what those creator beings are doing, or to feel what those creator beings, is that important, or how can we begin to see that, perceive it, or understand it, what they're doing?
Such a beautiful, intimate question, and I'm trying to notice how to articulate the intimacy of very deep stillness, of very deep focus, of very deep open-heartedness, of a decision to become very quiet, of a decision to allow them to come towards you in the stillness, in the quiet, and allow subliminal knowings to become your major perception, your main perception, rather than the loud logic or the loud thinking. So to allow a subtlety of knowings to flow towards you from them, because the worlds of spirit send information as super subtle, and it behoves us to drop out of our logic and to catch again the word stream, to catch the stream of instant knowings of the information that's being sent to us, the pictures, the knowings. It's way below logic. And so that's our job, that's our sort of practice of showing up with them, but then they will present, and they will work very hard from their end. They really do. They travel a million miles to come and help us perceive them. And so on our part, it's about willingness to be quiet, willingness to be super still, and to feel the interface. And as we decide to become super quiet and still inside of our mind and be in receiving mode, yin mode, they arrive, and you will feel them, because they're very smart at helping you notice them. See, I've played with a multitude of spirit guides throughout the 30 years. And creator beings are a little bit different. Their energy is very subtle, it's very, very high and very fine. And at the same time, they are beyond incredibly smart in how you're wired. So they understand you, right? From a distance, they can see what you need to, in terms of help, to perceive them. So they are actually really smart about that and how that works. However, if we're in a rush or we're anxious or we're busy in our heads, you know, we're not being present. We can't catch what they're sending to us. And so lying down, actually, getting horizontal, switches on a lot of things that helps with that, because the emotional body, the physical body, the thinking, thought forms, everything relaxes and slows down faster when we're horizontal. So just wanted to say that that's a really big clue if you want to sort of drop away from your body and just travel with the worlds of spirit, is to go horizontal, lie down. Because you can just take off into other worlds more easily if you're lying down. Just letting you know, that's a big one.
Beautiful. So every morning we could wake up, or even before we go to bed, we could lay down and do this practice and call forward these beautiful creator beings and do what we did today, but more importantly, to have them scan our auric field for shadow. When we're manifesting in this way, and I may have asked you this before, do we need to keep this alive, or can we say, it is done, they get this dream, they get this entire goal or this big vision that we have, and do we have to keep adding to it, keep cultivating that dream? I mean, I'm sure we can come back and upgrade it with our latest visions, but it seems like once we hand it over to the creator beings, this that we love, that they've got it, and the rest will unfold.
Great question. You know, I do want to say that it works more potently for you if you're listening to my voice. So if you want to fast forward to the process in this replay, in the replay of this, so it does work more easily for you. And I recommend people use a recording of my voice guiding you to these places over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. Because once you're in this place, being guided by my voice, then you can pause the replay, the recording, and travel and go there and be with them. But you've got there, right? with the force field that is connected through my voice. And what you were asking about, repeating or reconnecting with that interface, with that place, that moment. So as you travel back to that moment of interfacing with these creator beings and my voice instructing you to notice what you're feeling and what you're wanting and what you would love, it will be fresh. It could be fresh and different every time. So it's a sacred moment of delivering that to the creator beings. It's an innocent moment, so the same hope, the same joy-filled presumption could come up again. And if it is, then it's beautiful. And and they regard it and interpret it as a strengthening. The entire quantum space runs and operates on intention. Intention is the force that runs everything. And so, if you show up again in that sacred journey and send that intention again and strengthen it, again with real joy, pureness, truth, and deliver it, that intention is a bullet. It's a cannonball, and it travels. That's very sort of negative. It's a path of light. It's your essence. being delivered. It's your purity. It's your pure intention. And that is being delivered into the realms of the creator beings who are bending over backwards to help humanity. You can hear how important it is for them. And so every time you show up and interface with them, they are striving, they're telling me to say, striving to help you. And so sure doesn't hurt, okay? It really helps a lot to go there regularly. And in your innocence to see what happens in that moment. But to hold
very beautiful. Thank you so much. This really was a beautiful process today, and it feels really wonderful for each of us to really be in that space and to interface with the creator beings. Alicia, you actually have ways for people to work with you, work with your voice, with recordings, additional things that help in this entire process and continue to build a beautiful bridge with the creator beings. So tell us about your special offer. There's a couple of things that's combined here.
Well, I would like to introduce everyone to a collated, a curated collection of interviews with the creator beings where they relay to us as humans an ever deeper story of who we are and who they are and what's happening here. Some say it's a battleground for shadow. Others say it's an opportunity for humanity to explode into its real spirit power, into its truth as creator beings themselves. So, curriculum from Spirit. There are 3 curriculum from Spirit. Each one has 10 powerful interviews that just keep going deeper and more elevated. The creator beings reveal more and more as you keep traveling. So series 1 of 10 of these interviews is available, Curriculum from Spirit. It's called curriculum because in each one of these, it's me just purely answering questions. My dear friend Julie is asking the creator beings tricky questions, pointed questions all the way through, and they are replying with a very deliberate curriculum that they are rolling out in each of these 10 interviews. So it's quite astonishing. It's quite amazing. And if anybody would like to, they can also pair up that particular course and curated modules with something called Uplift on Light, which is another special offer, which are a bundle of very specific, quite powerful actually, and initiatory trainings with spirit where spirit technicians are observing your auric field for a very specific targeted reason. And so there are 7 of them. The last 2 or 3 of those, particularly I call them spirit surgeries, are deep initiations of your soul, of your core soul, where these spirit surgeons travel to the very core of your actual soul and rewire it and find the deepest soul wounds. So there's a collection of 7 very targeted spirit surgeries. Each one of them is about 30 to 45 minutes where you are watching spirit surgeons work on your auric field for very specific reasons. Uplift on Light. So that's a package that you can connect up with as well. But Curriculum from Spirit is pretty amazing. Like Series 1, I'm just going to quickly just overview Curriculum from Spirit Series 1. The first module, Julie's asking about me and my journey. And whenever I talk, I am channeling the creator beings. And so they're coming in and describing my initial journey over the 30 years. And then the second one, the whole topic of the question and answers and their revealing is, why did we choose to be human? Who are we as humans? It discusses souls taking on dark roles. Are these mistakes? What happens if you're not clearly listening or hearing your guides? They just cover so much. It's just very content-rich, every single one of these. By the way, every single one of these is about an hour to an hour and a half of discussion and revelations. So they're very big modules in themselves. Module 3 is building partnerships with spirit tutors. Enormous discussion for an hour and a half on that. Number 4 is how to accelerate your soul evolution. Again, the creator beings coming in and revealing so much. In the New Age circles, they talk about the shift of ages. Is the physical world going to disappear? And the creator beings talk about that, remembering that they are overseers of universes. So it's useful to ask a creator being, is the physical world going to disappear? So that's just deep, deep discussions. Number 5, module 5, I'm just going to go through the topic focuses. Sure. Number 5 is something called deliberate awakening. What really is ascension? A lot of the time in these hour and a half discussions, they teach tools and training. So they discuss the steps of deliberate awakening, a tool to change your life very easily, how the quantum world is shifting, how high-frequency light changes you, how spirit tutors respond to your request for healing. They answer a question, how can I heal from shock and devastation? So we were taking a few questions at that point. Module 6 is an incredible one, actually. The angel, and in brackets, the elephant in the room. The purpose of this life. And a lot of the time, as this hour and a half of question and answers, many times we got to the end of these interviews with these creator beings and kind of got to a stillness at the end, because we were in shock at what they were quietly unraveling or unveiling to us. We'd come to this moment of kind of just sitting there going, oh my God, I'm not sure what I just heard. Anyway, a lot of the time at the end of these conversations, it was very, very, very powerful, the revelations. Module 7, discussion all about the help and support from the spirit world, how high authority spirit beings can support you, the many, many different ways. There's a warning on that one that this interview might change your life. Many gifts are given during these, as I say, tools are given, gifts are given. When I say gifts, that as you're listening, these creator beings initiate you by point blank asking the listener permission to do something for them. And when they ask something like that, that's a life-changing moment. Because if you say yes to a point-blank invitation from them, that's a contract. They take on you as a project. And one of the points in that one, in Module 7, is how spirit tutors can upgrade a person's thought stream on request. It's just something that just stands out to me as I'm looking through. Module 8, a discussion for an hour and a half on living your highest soul purpose. How to workshop your life direction and contribution. Again, just huge, huge, huge. Number 9, reality creation. How your aura creates your reality. How your heart optimizes realities. The deep influences that control your daily realities. And then tools, reality-changing tools. Several powerful long-term spirit partnering tools are offered in this module. Very, very powerful. And number 10, the hidden truth of why we're here. Again, you can hear how they keep dropping deeper and deeper and revealing more and more. The veil just keeps getting lifted on more and more and more. Oh my goodness. So it is an advanced curriculum of knowledge. offered by these overseers, and just designed, honestly, to lift your perspective of who you think you are and really what's going on here. So that's curriculum from Spirit. Very, very, very powerful initiatory training, and as you listen, you are initiated. The vibration initiates you. It's downloading into you. It's rewiring you as you're listening. Very, very powerful. Yeah. So
beautiful. Yeah. That's awesome. So that is a beautiful way for people to go deeper with you and your work and work with those recordings. It's very beautifully organized on the system that you use to deliver that as well. And I wanted to just say on the Uplift on Light program and the Spirit Surgeries of the Core Soul, you know, this is important because it's almost like soul retrieval in a way where it's actually integrating all of these wounds, right? Why is this so important to really find these deep core wounds?
Yes, because they resonate and because they are part of the mix of every moment and the way that you're thinking. So when we first birthed as a soul, I'm not talking about a human birth, I'm talking about the soul travels in the worlds of spirit for eons and eons and eons and eons and eons, and the last 20% of its soul journey is in human incarnations. So way before that are lots of explorations and experiments with decision-making and choice-making and consciousness training, way before we decide to become human, in human cycles. We have mentors, we have master teachers up in those worlds of spirit. We take on roles. We learn how to navigate in various currents like shadow currents. So a lot goes on way before we even start human incarnations. And right at the very beginning, there is a birth of a soul, a baby soul, a new soul. And many, many things happen, like we bump into things. And it's extremely unique, that moment, for each of us. So when we talk about core soul, we're actually traveling right back to that first imprint, very similar to some therapies here as humans. You know, they work with the birth imprint, like what happened to us in birth, and they unravel that and heal that. So this is the birth of the soul and how it enters, how it starts becoming a soul and accumulating knowledge and training. So it actually goes right back to that. It goes back to that moment. But also what you're talking about is the accumulation of soul wounds, actually, all the way through that journey. Yeah.
All the way through. I mean, I've been able to trace things that are so deep. I usually cry at the drop of a hat, and it goes to Lemuria, but what you're saying is it's even beyond Lemuria. So it's the inner work. It's this inner work and unification of us, of our soul. And the creator beings are here to help with that. Thank you, Alicia. I truly hope that everyone is feeling the high frequency, the love software, and the downloads that we received in this process today. And happy creating with it. Happy moving forward. I'm feeling a sense of joy. I hope you are too. You know, something changed in my life when I met the creator beings, when they introduced themselves to me. And one of the things that changed is I could lean back into them. I was no longer floating out on a vast ocean, sort of trying to figure things out myself or trying to support myself in the energy soup. Suddenly there was big help, very hefty capability showed up.
The big brother showed up on the playground. And that gave me a feeling of security, which you know, I was already playing in the world of spirit, but suddenly there was, suddenly my older brother showed, you know, suddenly someone with huge capability showed up, and that was, I could lean on that. Anyway, I just wanted to say that was, that's quite important, quite powerful.
It's wonderful. And so creating with the heart in this way and taking the action of the heart, this is how we create new earth, and it is a vibration. And so happy creating everyone from this beautiful space. I have a heart dream that I gave to the creator beings, and we'll see. I'll report back to you how things go and where things accelerate. But one of the things I do know about creating from this heart space is this inspiration. We can call it inspiration, this higher frequency, this download that we have, but that we're giving it back to the creator beings to really know that we do love it and create from it. It does not go away. Our ego mind, the logic mind, may come in and say, oh, you don't have skills for that or talent for that. But the inspiration will always come back around and validate that heart dream or that heart love. And to me, that's beautiful as we move away from that ego-driven, mind-based way of living and creating into this heart-centered creation. That's a beautiful world. So I thank you for sharing it. I thank the creator beings for speaking that through your voice in this session today, and for offering all of this incredible, tremendous assistance in our lives. And I thank everyone who's doing this work, because it is beautiful. It's what we came for, and we are amplifying this love. So Alicia, I thank you so much for being here today, and I truly hope everyone feels this upliftment. In the middle of it, I felt a ringing, a very light, very high frequency, very faint ringing in my ears. And not both, but just one side, and I take that as something. That's what I notice. So I just wanted to share that. It was cool.
Lorraine, you have articulated it perfectly. So beautiful. In a nutshell. Thank you.
Well, in a nutshell, we hope everyone takes that and works with it in this way, calls on the creator beings who are here assisting us. Alicia Power's special offer is available right here on this webpage. You click through and you'll see the two options, and you'll get an immediate access email so you can begin working with those items in her special offer. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Alicia and the creator beings. As we say goodbye, I just want to give you a moment to share anything else.
Well, the creative beings, you know, they quickly want to say they honor profoundly everyone who's participating with this, as you were saying, Lorraine, because they recognize your soul. They recognize you as soul. And they haven't got the words, you know, for the huge, how big it is, how their feeling is towards you of love, that you've come into the physical dimension to specify and articulate your joy and your love and amplify that. So they're saying that that's your job at hand. Amplify your joy, amplify your love. That's all you need to do. Just amplify it, because it's a resonance field. It's a resonance field, whatever it takes.
Okay, everyone, happy amplifying your joy and your love, and know that if it's a challenge to feel it, you can cultivate it. Call on the creator beings and continue with this work. Oh, it feels good, and we thank everyone for listening. Alicia, I thank you for sharing this message, and again, I thank the creator beings. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Oh, again, we hope you are feeling this great joy and this great love, and that we hope that this has assisted you today. So thank you, everyone. Now it is time to dance our way to the cosmic heart. Enjoy. Thank you for listening to this quantum conversation, and thank you for dancing with us to the cosmic heart. As we raise our own vibration, we raise the vibration of the planet. This show is dedicated to you and all awakening hearts, as we are here to shine our bright light and amplify our love. Access all quantum conversations, special offers from our guests, and online healing retreats by visiting acoustichealth.com. I'm Loren Gailey, and from my sacred heart to yours, I honor your magnificent love and light. We leave you now with music from the universe. Music literally created by the universe, as musical notes were assigned to mathematical equations. The result is this beautiful music, available at acoustichealth.com. Namaste.